Hi guys, Robert Ian Bonnick, or RIB, inspirational speaker, inspirational coach and author, published author of Soul Survivor. Now welcome to today. Now what we're going to cover today, the topic will be, who should write a book? Who should write a book? Now before we get into the meat of this, I would love you to share this with anyone who you think would love this content I'm about to give you. Really powerful and important that we get people writing books, telling their story, influencing the world, and just uplifting the lives of others, right? Okay, great. So now who should write a book? I would put this into 2 or 3 categories, okay? So the first category is, if you just, have always wanted to write a book. Now you know who I'm talking to, right? Because you'll be listening to this going like, yeah, that's always been me, but you've been too afraid to start, right? So that could be the first category. The people who've always wanted to write a book, but are too afraid to start, or who don't know how, right? So now this, we're talking about now is that this isn't necessarily about you having this amazing story of all these, titanic struggles and missions and overcoming massive adversity and all that. That's great if you do, but if you don't, and it's just literally a book that you want to write about your life, maybe for your kids, maybe for yourself, it's an extremely cathartic experience and thing to do. I highly recommend it, right? So for the first category are those people who've always wanted to write a book, but just don't know how, or have been too afraid to start. That would be the first one. The second type of person I would say is the type of person, who wants to do something with it, right? A person who wants to write a book for a reason, for an outcome. Now you might be a speaker, a coach, you might be a professional who wants to dominate their niche, right? So you want to write a book because you understand and you know the power of being an author, the power of being a published author, right? It gives you the opportunity, to stand up in your niche. It gives you an opportunity to stand out in your niche. It gives you an opportunity to be booked for speaking gigs, to do workshops, to be invited to be sponsored, or to become a collaborator or an ambassador, right? That book is your calling card, and you know and understand that you can also monetize that, right? Through the things I've just mentioned before, the speaking gigs, the endorsements, the sponsorships, This is all very possible and probable when you write a book the right way, right? So that's really important to actually know. Now you might fall into a third category, which is like, maybe you don't want to make it into a career thing. Maybe it's not because, you just always wanted to write a book and you're too afraid. Maybe you're in that third category of like, well, you just want to write a book to see what happens, right? Because you're inquisitive about the process. You've heard it's a good thing to do, but you're not necessarily sold on doing it. Now, what I would say to you is that if you fall into this category, be aware, right, that writing a book, it does take effort. It does take work, right? There's part of you that you need to really devote to this, to really give yourself a really great outcome, right? So it's really important to actually know that there's no free lunch here, guys, right? You're giving up your time, you're giving up your attention, and you need to set an intention. Right? Otherwise, when it gets to that part where you need to push through, you're probably going to be falling behind because your why isn't powerful enough. Your why isn't strong enough to help you, to give you the necessary impetus you need to get through that time, which actually brings me on to a really good point. So the topic for tomorrow will actually be about this. The topic for tomorrow will actually be about, a no BS understanding of what it takes to write a book. And I think, you will find immense value in this because, it really gets you, on board with understanding what it takes to write a book, what kind of mindset you need to be into to be able to write that book successfully, right? And we'll be dealing with that tomorrow. And look, just remember that I've set up a Facebook group. There's a link here somewhere here in the description. Join that group, right? Join that group, because in that group we'll be putting lots of information, lots of great resources about those people who want to turn their story either into a book or turn their story into a 6 or 7-figure income. All right? So please take me up on that offer. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye for now.